Babe, hold on to your tea, because the Gypsy Rose Blanchard drama just hit a new level of chaos, and this time it involves betrayal, live stream shade, and a plot twist no one saw coming. It all started when Ken, yes, that Ken, went live and did something nobody expected. Instead of sharing a sweet update or thanking fans, he used the moment to completely tear down KRISTY, the same woman who had once been his biggest supporter. We're talking full-on verbal takedown, on live. KRISTY wasn't just a casual fan cheering from the sidelines, she was practically family. She was the bridge that helped bring Ken and Gypsy closer after her prison release. She defended him publicly, even when people questioned their relationship. She was the one in his corner when the whole world doubted him. And how did Ken return the favor? By dragging her through the mud, live, in front of thousands. This all stems from something KRISTY let slip a while back when she and Gypsy went live together. In a totally unfiltered, off-the-cuff moment, KRISTY casually dropped a bombshell that Ken had signed a non-disclosure agreement with Gypsy. An NDA. That meant Ken legally couldn't speak about certain things related to her. Now, that one line changed everything. Because while Gypsy's ex-husband Ryan never had to sign anything like that, Ken, apparently, did.
I've always told you guys I'm always going to keep it 100 with y'all, okay? So I'm replying back to a comment in the video where I was talking about like these big creators saying stuff and not confirming. While we have confirmation on the NDA, I was scrolling my FYP and I noticed that KRISTY Blanchard was in a live with other people that don't have me blocked. So I started screen recording. I have it in a screen recording. I'll post it tomorrow because I'm clocking out for the day. But it has been confirmed by KRISTY Blanchard that Ken indeed has signed an NDA to protect, quote unquote, their family against basically fighting over the internet because he can't say certain things, but she can. I tell you one thing, it's real pathetic to have to sign an NDA in order to be in a relationship with a person that you left your husband for and had a child with and is trying to raise that child, right? But you're so scared for your secrets to come out that your boyfriend has to sign an NDA. That shows a lot of true colors right there, and that kind of shows as well that there's secrets that she holds that she's told Ken that she doesn't want him to repeat. That could also be why she went back with him, because she wanted to make sure he wasn't going to repeat that stuff.
People instantly started asking, wait, why would someone in a loving, healthy relationship need a legal contract to stay quiet? From that moment on, the internet started digging. Suddenly, those awkward hugs between Gypsy and Ken, the stiff body language, the rehearsed TikToks, they weren't just quirky or uncomfortable anymore. They looked strategic. Calculated. Like Ken wasn't just a boyfriend, but a player in a perfectly curated storyline.
I feel like it's hard for them. And
right.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody at
No.
all, because they have a hard time, and I'm gonna make this clear. I know they complain about they only got a certain amount of things out the house, but I did give them what they asked for. They asked for certain things and they got it. If they wanted more, I'd have gladly gave more, but as for what they're going through, my heart hurts for them. I don't have any malicious intent to these people. I will not disrespect them, and I will not disrespect Didi because of the respect I have for myself and for the families. Now, Rod and all are entitled. Rob is entitled. They could say, but I watch what I say because it's out there. And now I could talk about my stories that I went through with her because those are my stories. I told Father Dean to lock all the doors in the church because if she walked in, it'd be the first time a bitch got her ass kicked in the church because of what she told Father Dean, that they were still married. You don't lie to a priest. You don't. And, but when things were good, they were good. But when they were bad, holy shit. They were bad. And
I think that's with any family.
yeah. And I hope they heal one day. I hope, Darla, Claudia, Evans,
And then, fast forward to now. Ken doesn't just go live, he goes live at the exact same time Ryan is streaming. Babe, that's not coincidence. That's chess. That was a move meant to stir the pot. And while everyone's eyes were bouncing between two lives, Ken seized the moment to finally address the NDA rumor. But instead of clarifying things like a grown adult, Ken went full scorched earth. He didn't just deny the NDA, he snapped. He went off on KRISTY, calling her a liar, accusing her of pulling things out of her behind, and throwing all kinds of attitude.
Does care about me because that's literally all that he ever talks about in his live, so I don't think he's ever done one single live where he doesn't reference me or Gypsy. Okay, let's go ahead and address this NDA thing because I've been seeing a lot about this NDA. I never signed any NDA. I don't know where anybody gets this from. Like, y'all pull things out of your ass on the daily.
Apparently, KRISTY had said it on a live, and
okay.
she didn't know.
Well, she doesn't know what she's talking about because there's been no NDA that's been signed between me and Gypsy. So if KRISTY speculated that it may have happened, well, it didn't happen. There's no NDA at all. I'm not like attacking her. I'm just saying that maybe she misspoke. Maybe she thought that it was a thing, but it's not a thing. There's been no NDA that's been signed. So there you go.
I'm gonna have to rock you to sleep. Yeah. I'm gonna have to rock you to sleep.
I don't really care about the emails because the emails were written years and years and years ago from somebody in a heightened emotional state, so I really don't care. Oh, I'm lying about the NDA? Why would I lie about that? There's no NDA. I mean, that's my point, is that you guys, a lot of the haters just believe anything and everything that they read. You know, I got like several DMs about like me having the stroller out on the beach where Aurora wasn't with us, and we were just like faking bringing her to the beach. Maybe she was being held at the time by somebody else.
And it wasn't just frustration, it was smug, loud, and downright vulgar. It was the kind of meltdown that makes you pause the live and say, wait, is this really happening? And the whole time? Gypsy was right there. Not in front of the camera, but close enough to hear everything. And what did she do? Nothing. She let him rant. She let him disrespect KRISTY. But then, at just the right moment, her voice popped in from the background. She didn't stop him. She didn't defend KRISTY. Instead, she calmly reminded everyone, well, KRISTY's the one who said it, and then quickly added something like, maybe she didn't know. It was subtle, but calculated. Like she wanted to distance herself from the fallout while still nudging the blame toward KRISTY and Ken. He doubled down. He said KRISTY didn't know what she was talking about, that she was confused or just making things up. It was cold. Dismissive. As if this woman, who had been his loudest supporter, suddenly didn't matter. And just when it started to sound like he'd gone too far, Ken tried to soften it. He backtracked, saying he wasn't attacking her personally, but come on. The damage was already done. Now here's where it gets juicier. People are asking the real questions. If there's no NDA, why such an aggressive response? Why not just calmly say, that's not true, and move on? Why go scorched earth on someone who's been defending you for months? And why did Gypsy, who always seems so carefully media trained, choose this moment to go silent, only to chime in with a cryptic half-defense? The internet is spiraling, babe. Some people think Ken's outburst was a guilty conscience slipping through the cracks. Others believe Gypsy's playing puppet master behind the scenes, letting Ken be the mouthpiece while she keeps her own image polished and untouchable. And a few are even wondering, was KRISTY really confused, or did she reveal something Gypsy desperately wanted to keep buried? Let's go back to that awkward apology Ken gave after his explosive live. You know, the one where he publicly tore into KRISTY, the woman who had literally been fighting for his and Gypsy's image from day one. That apology? Completely lifeless. Empty words with no heart behind them. His tone was smug, his posture arrogant, and the words coming out of his mouth? They didn't match the vibe at all. There was no remorse, no reflection. He wasn't sorry, he was saving face. But viewers? Oh, they saw right through it. The fakery was loud. What really hit people hard wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. The snide tone. The rolled eyes. The way he brushed off KRISTY like she was nothing but background noise. Like she hadn't spent months defending him from internet backlash. Like she hadn't been in the trenches, doing the thankless job of softening public opinion when things with Gypsy started to look shady. Ken didn't just deny KRISTY's claim about the NDA, he erased her existence. He made her look like a desperate liar, someone clout-chasing with no credibility. But here's the real kicker, babe, this wasn't some random drama channel talking about Ken. This was KRISTY. Someone who had been in the circle, deep in the mess, and who had every reason to stay quiet, but chose not to. So then we have to ask, why would she lie? Why on earth would KRISTY, who's been publicly and privately pro-Ken for ages, suddenly decide to throw a grenade like that? What could she possibly gain? Absolutely nothing. In fact, everything about the fallout hurt her. By speaking up, she risked being iced out by Gypsy, attacked by fans, and painted as the villain in a narrative she once helped prop up. She knew that, and yet, she said it anyway. That alone tells you something. Because KRISTY has never been the one chasing likes or clout. She was the one doing the behind-the-scenes work. After Gypsy got out of prison, it was KRISTY who helped keep the spark alive between her and Ken. When the media glare got harsh, when people questioned Gypsy's quick rebound after divorcing Ryan, KRISTY was out here calming the flames. She made public posts defending their love, encouraged people to support them, and shut down rumors every single time cracks started to show. She wasn't just standing behind them, she was standing in front of them, absorbing the hits, shielding them from criticism. KRISTY gave her time, her energy, her public voice, all to make Ken and Gypsy's relationship look whole. Look functional. Look real. So the betrayal? Oh, it cut deep. And Gypsy, let's not forget her role here. She sat back in silence while Ken shredded the very woman who helped them stay afloat when their public image was circling the drain. She didn't step in. She didn't say stop. And when she did finally speak, it wasn't to defend KRISTY, it was to nudge the blame back onto her. In a soft, calculated tone, Gypsy piped up from the background to say, well, KRISTY was the one who said it, maybe she just didn't know. That wasn't an act of defense, that was a strategic redirect. A quiet little push to distance herself from the NDA claim, while letting Ken keep swinging. It was cold. It was rehearsed. And it was so Gypsy. And babe, this wasn't just about a document. The NDA might have lit the match, but the fire? That had been building for a while. This was years of unspoken tension, of KRISTY being used as a mouthpiece for a love story that's starting to look more manufactured than ever. Because let's be real, once KRISTY stopped being useful, once she spoke one uncomfortable truth, they burned her. Publicly. Loudly. Brutally. And without hesitation. But just when you think it can't get more twisted, the universe said, wait, there's more. Because right before this whole mess exploded, leaked emails from Gypsy's time in prison surfaced, and babe, they are devastating. These weren't vague comments or gossip screenshots. These were full-on, black and white, typed-out emails that Gypsy sent to her father, Rod. And in them? She admitted, clearly, shamelessly, that she knew he was cheating on KRISTY. Not only that, she wasn't trying to stop it. She wasn't warning KRISTY, or expressing concern, or even pretending to be conflicted. No, Gypsy encouraged it. She was actively supporting her father's affair with a woman known only as the Cookie Lady. Not just tolerating it, actively keeping in contact with the woman, treating it like no big deal, like cheating on someone who had loved and defended her was somehow normal. And that's what's got people shook. Because how do you go from being the misunderstood victim of a tragic past to suddenly being the girl who's cheerleading for betrayal? Who lets the people closest to her be humiliated? Who stays silent when someone loyal is being ripped apart in real time? While she had been leaning on Gypsy, crying to her, confiding in her, trusting her with her rawest fears about Rod's betrayal, Gypsy was playing a completely different game behind the scenes, a game that no one saw coming. Because while KRISTY poured her heart out, thinking she was safe, thinking she was being comforted by someone who cared, Gypsy was actively supporting the very man who was ripping KRISTY apart. KRISTY had opened up her world, she gave Gypsy access to her passwords, her private thoughts, her grief. She was vulnerable. Fragile. She leaned into Gypsy emotionally, believing she had someone in her corner. But behind that warm facade, Gypsy wasn't just silently watching Rod cheat, she was encouraging it. She was playing both sides like it was nothing. Holding KRISTY in one hand and betrayal in the other, without a single ounce of remorse. This wasn't just betrayal, babe. This was emotional sabotage. Deep, deliberate, and cruel. KRISTY wasn't just caught off guard, she was set up. And now, with the NDA rumors setting the internet on fire and Ken popping off on livestream like a guard dog in a panic, it all looks like a distraction. A giant, smoke and mirrors tactic to pull attention away from the real betrayal, Gypsy's. Because the truth is, Gypsy didn't just turn on KRISTY during some public spat. She had already broken her, quietly and methodically, long before a single livestream ever aired. And when the dust began to settle, when the backlash hit hard and fast, Gypsy finally issued an apology. But babe, don't get your hopes up, it wasn't to KRISTY, not directly. Not even close. It was one of those vague, blanket statements, to anyone I may have hurt, that kind of hollow, PR-polished apology that doesn't actually mean anything. No names. No specific moments acknowledged. No ownership of the betrayal she inflicted. It read like a press release. Not a confession. And the irony? Just weeks before this so-called growth moment, Gypsy was out there drunk and screaming on Bourbon Street, acting like a hot mess in front of phones, fans, and flashing cameras, screaming slurs, hurling profanities, putting on a train wreck of a show for the whole world to see. And let's not forget, months before that, she was out here getting Ryan fired from his job as a teacher. Blasting his personal life across every social media platform she could access. Exposing private details. Ruining reputations. Not because she was young and reckless, but because she wanted to hurt him. So when exactly did all this growth happen? Was it the day she realized people were catching on? The moment her name trended for all the wrong reasons? Because babe, that apology wasn't healing. It was damage control. It wasn't growth, it was strategy. A weak attempt to patch up her image without lifting a finger to actually make things right. And people saw through it. Especially KRISTY, who, even after being dragged, ignored, and emotionally gutted, still didn't get the dignity of hearing her name in that apology. No direct message. No recognition. Nothing. That silence? That absence of real accountability? It screamed louder than any apology ever could. And Ken, let's talk about him for a second. Because while Gypsy played the passive, soft-spoken peacemaker, Ken took on the role of attack dog. Whether or not he actually signed that NDA doesn't even matter anymore, because the moment things got heated, he showed the world exactly where his loyalty lies. Not with the people who helped him. Not with truth. But with Gypsy's image. He didn't pause. He didn't question, he didn't defend KRISTY, who had defended him through thick and thin. Instead, he snapped into defense mode, cold, sharp, and rehearsed. His job wasn't to tell the truth. It was to protect Gypsy's carefully crafted narrative, no matter who got crushed in the process. He didn't care that KRISTY had supported him when no one else would. That she had risked her own reputation just to keep his name clean. He didn't even flinch as he bulldozed her on live stream. Because in his eyes, the only thing that mattered was shielding Gypsy from scrutiny. And in doing so, he revealed something deeply unsettling about himself, something robotic, detached. Almost like he'd been coached. Every word out of his mouth felt too polished. Too pointed. Viewers picked up on it quickly. That tone wasn't defensive, it was scripted, like someone had briefed him on what to say, when to say it, and who to blame. And as he kept talking, people started wondering, was this even Ken anymore? Or had he just become another pawn in Gypsy's chessboard, groomed and shaped to defend her at all costs? And then there was KRISTY, left standing in the wreckage of it all. This woman who gave her time, her energy, her loyalty, now treated like she was disposable, tossed aside without so much as a thank you. For KRISTY, this wasn't just betrayal. It was erasure. She was written out of the story she helped create. Humiliated in front of the same audience she once tried to protect them from. So now the world is watching, asking the same burning questions. Will KRISTY ever forgive them after this? After being backstabbed so publicly, so viciously? Or has she finally hit her limit, emotionally exhausted, betrayed one too many times, and ready to walk away from both of them? Because this isn't some messy breakup or silly TikTok feud. This is real pain. Real deception. A real woman watching herself be replaced, ignored, and crushed on the very stage she helped build. Stay tuned, babe. Because if there's one thing this saga has made clear, it's that when it comes to Gypsy Rose, the mess is never truly over.